Hello, I hope you are doing good. My name is Moad, and today we are going to talk about Redux. The purpose of this video is to explain the basics of Redux and put it into work with a live example using React.js as a JavaScript framework. I hope you are enjoying it. So let's start with the big question. What is Redux? Redux is a JavaScript library for managing and maintaining application state that is used alongside with other frameworks such as React. So a lot of people have known Redux as a library specially made for React.js or React Native, which is false. We can use Redux with any other JavaScript framework such as Angular, Vue.js, or even Node.js for the backend. So we are going to understand how can we use Redux and why we need it, what the problem Redux solves in the first place, and how the core of Redux works and how can we get the best of it. So let's jump in and start. So let's imagine this situation. We have a blog website. We have two pages, home page and blog page. The home page has two components, as you can see, sidebar and content. And the blog page also have two components, latest blog and reviews. This is something like super simple to understand the problem. So let's say we have those blogs and the latest blogs on our server, which we have the data, and we fetch this data and pass it to the state, and we took it to the component via props. Okay, so now we want to do the same with the sidebar. So we want to display on the sidebar the latest blog. The only way to do this in the classic way, or there's two ways actually, is to do the same, like to fetch data, pass it to the state, and then pass it to the props to display it on the sidebar. And also we can nest the props, so we can pass the props to the blog page and then to the home page and pass it via the props to the sidebar. And that's very not good to do, especially with big websites which have like a very big tree of components, and also that will be super buggy on the production mode. So what is the solution? There is a lot of solutions, and Redux is one of the best. So Redux gives you like a global store to do that. So the Redux behaves as a data center store, and we are going to store all our data from UI behaviors. For example, when a model should pop up or hide, or even like is the user authentified or no. So that store can store any type of data, and that's going to be super useful from this perspective. But the problem is, if we can access that data from any component, then can we update that data from any component as well? Because if you can do that, then that's something not very good to do, and will definitely have crashes and will give us a lot of bugs. So how Redux deal with this problem? Now we need to see how Redux deal with this problem and see the process to do an update via the Redux store. So how it works. First, the state defines the UI, as can you see, and when the UI the user do something, for example load or click on the button, he trigger an action, and that action dispatch to reducer. So the action can be sent when a user, as we said, press a button, load application. They can contain information that you want to add to the state, and and that action will be passed to the reducer, and the reducer will behave as a controller in the first place. So the reducer listens for action. When it hears that action has been sent to it, it updates the state. He looks into this action and go and update the store. So the reducer is the only one who can make an update for the store data, and we can't make an update directly from the UI component, and that is the trick. So the store holds the Redux state and allow access to the modification to it. So it's kinda like a middleman. It's kinda like a middleman between the actions and the reducers. And the state defines the UI component, and that's the circle of how the Redux work when we want to update the states on the store. So this is all for the introduction of Redux. We know what is Redux, and now we know what is the problem with big components and big application, mobile or web applications, and we know now the Redux what's offered as a solution. In the next topics we are going to see in details this actions, the reducers, store, and also we are going to put all together to create an application with React.js and Redux. So buckle up and stay tuned.